Welcome to Scrum Positive. This is Vinod Narayan. Thanks for tuning in. Last week, we did a video on the 12th Agile principle on retrospective, and that covers the 12 Agile principles. So, this week onwards, what I plan to do is that every week I will take a topic and I'll share my thoughts. And if I have any experience to share, I'll do that. So, today's topic is, and this is a question that I've heard teams try to get an answer to move forward. Should we do Scrum or should we do Kanban? For those who are been in the Agile field, they know what a Scrum is, what a Kanban is. But for those who are new to this concept, I'll try to explain it in a 2 or 3 sentences. So Scrum is where time box is important. For example, you plan what you have to do during a time box, and this time box, which we call sprint, can be 1 week to 4 weeks. So you plan what you have to do, and then you go through a certain ceremonies, a cadence goes in, and then at the end of the time box or the sprint, you deliver a piece of value or a working software. So that's what Scrum is. Now, what is Kanban? In Kanban, it's not about time box, it's about flow and WIP limits. So flow in the sense, if you get a lot of work, you keep doing it, completing it from, for example, very simply, there are 3 stages: to do, doing, done. And then you follow, you have everything to be done would be put in to do, and then you take, when you're completed doing something, you take something else to doing, put it in doing, and then you move to done. But there's always a concept called WIP limit, where you always say that you couldn't at a time work with so many things. There will be only this many number of things that will be in the doing column to get things done. I know for those who might not know about Kanban, it might be different to visualize. But what the question that people have is that, what should I do? Should I do Scrum or Kanban? Now, I know the name of this YouTube channel is Scrum Positive. So naturally people would think that I would say Scrum is what you should do and not Kanban. Not really. I am agnostic in terms of the method that you use to deliver value. Because there is a reason why you do Scrum, there is a reason why you do Kanban. And that's a reason that the team has to discuss and find out. I have seen teams that say that we want to do Kanban because we cannot plan. We cannot plan what we can do for during a time box. And there are teams which have said that they want to go to Kanban because they don't want to go through the planning process. So I think the question is not whether Scrum or Kanban is what we should use. If you're doing Scrum, you should do a retrospective and try to find out what is happening, what is not happening. Why are you moving to Kanban? Or if you're using Kanban, why are you moving to Scrum? Now, as I said, there are some people who say that we cannot plan, we cannot do Scrum, Scrum failed, and that's why we're moving to Kanban. Now, we should ask, why did Scrum fail according to you? Why do you think? Is it because you didn't have someone who could guide you and coach you through that process? Is it because the nature of the work that you do cannot be time boxed and you have to work on a flow? Is that the reason? Now that's only an answer that the team can say. Similarly, if you are in Kanban and they say, okay, Kanban is not going to work, we are not getting any velocity. Velocity is something which says that this is what you can deliver during a period of time. Because you don't have time box, we are not able to calculate velocity. So that might be one reason that people say. For both these, I think I personally have counter arguments. I think even for a Kanban, to get velocity for Kanban, I think we can still find a way to do that and you don't have to move to Scrum. Similarly, for people who are using Scrum and say that we are not able to plan and we move to Kanban, I think that's not right, because if you get into Kanban and you still don't plan how you're going to do things, there's going to be a problem. So normally I tell teams, that try to find out what helps you create value. And I'll share a small example. So there's a team that I've worked with before, and the team wanted to go to Kanban. And their reason was that we're spending a lot of time in planning, which is not a valid reason in my opinion. But since they were so adamant that they want to move to Kanban, I said, okay, let's do one thing. Let's try it out for, say, 2 months or 3 months. And then we'll record what is happening. And then we'll see whether that's a good model for us. So we went ahead, got into Kanban, started working in Kanban, and I started collecting this information. I would look at when a ticket comes in to doing, how long it takes, how it sits in there. I try to find out whether people are working on multiple things that they're not able to complete. Are we putting WIP limits? And then after 3 months, I got all these reports. I did also, even though it was being done in Kanban, I made sure that we kind of calculate velocity on a time box and kind of thing. Then when I took the 3 months when we were working in Kanban and the 3 months before that when we were working in Scrum, I personally found that for that team, they were able to produce better results. The productivity was more when they were doing Kanban. Now, though their reasoning for moving into Kanban was that they don't want to do planning, the result of doing that was that they were able to be more productive at the end of it. And then that's where you can make a decision. Do you want to continue with this? No. Or if in your company they say, we cannot allow Kanban to happen here. Or someone says, we cannot allow Scrum to happen here. So I think as a team, as individuals working in Agile, we need to be open. We need to be agnostic about the method that we do. See, the fundamental goal is to produce value. If you're in a software development company, your goal is to produce working software. And if you're a product development company, it is to build a product that adds value to your end users. That's the fundamental thing. Not whether you use Scrum, whether you use Kanban, whether you use another method. There is so much time that is spent on deciding that, but whichever method you take, if you don't do it properly, if you don't get coached by someone, there's always going to be a problem. And blaming the method for that would not be the right choice. That's my personal opinion. I think there are teams which do very well with Kanban, and I have personal experience on that. There are teams that do better with Scrum because there is better structure that they can use and they can do. So one of the things that people normally say is that if it's a team which works on production issues. Now you cannot plan what issues are going to come in the future, right? If you're having a 1 week sprint or 2 week sprint, you can't plan what issues are going to hit me next week on Tuesday. So my only way is that I burn through the issues as soon as I get them, right? If based on priority. So in such case, I think Kanban kind of makes more sense. But even in all cases, we should really look at why are we doing one method? Why are we trying to shift from one method to the other? I think that conversation is something that the team has to have, and any other parties involved with the team has to have that discussion. And then stick with it for some time. And as you do it, collect data, because data is the only thing that will tell us whether we are doing well or we are not doing well. It's not about what a team feels or a coach feels or a team lead feels. I mean, we can all feel different things, but data is what will give us the real information. That's my personal thought. You can agree, disagree, and you'll have different thoughts. Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear that. I'll see you all next week. If you have any questions that you think would be interesting for me to think about, because I'm not saying that I have an answer for every question, but I think I like to hear questions so that I could take some time and think through it. You guys take care. I'll see you all next week. Thank you.